Welcome to the Vision Profiles. I guess it would be video cast. We're going to turn this into a podcast too, but we've decided to try and stream this on YouTube and got some ideas and suggestions. Chuck Joyner from Mac Voices encouraged us to go to the YouTube route. I'm still trying to figure a camera out that doesn't make me look like I'm a ghost, and we'll get that in the future editions of the show. But really, thank you for joining us. If you're joining us on YouTube for the first time, and we have a podcast that you can look for Vision Profiles if you want to listen to the audio version of this. We're two dedicated Apple Vision Pro users. We're going to dive into everything from hardware and software to apps and the latest updates in the world of Apple Vision Pro. Actually, I'm Marty Jencius, a faculty member at Kent State University, podcaster and Apple product fan.
And I'm Eric Bolden. I work in IT, but my interest is in figuring out interesting ways to share content, currently photography of plants and birds and panoramic sequences.
And we have a regular panelist with us who will be coming back whenever he can come back, Daniel Burkholder. Daniel, introduce yourself.
Why would I do that? Everyone already knows me. I'm so cool already. No, I'm a software engineer and technologist with a focus interest in generative AI and AI VR technologies.
So, guys, how does it feel? We're in the YouTubes right now.
I can't wait for a viral short to go. Well, I guess I said it's already viral, so I can't wait to be part of a viral short.
I don't want to wind up on TikTok. I just don't want to wind up on TikTok.
But
Yeah,
we
you're
got to
gonna do
do
the
it.
dance?
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
even.
we got to do a dance on to get on TikTok. Well, we've got some news to cover. We've got some apps to talk about, and so let's start out with the news of the week. Article came out in 9 to 5 Mac talking about more than 2,500 native apps for Apple Vision Pro. Any surprises there?
I mean, that's native, right? So not counting the iPads. I mean, I would just like to know, I'd love to see some metrics on the like I'd love to see some metrics on the download rates of a lot of these,
Yeah.
more so than the number of apps. Because well, yeah, I'd rather see like, are people actually downloading them, or is it just a lot of kind of shovelware? I mean, we are kind of in the fart app era, right? Like, I mean, I saw one earlier today that was virtual Spider-Man web shooting, which actually was kind of cool.
Yeah, okay.
But 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 right, like I'll light that, put that in the shotgun phone, the drink the beer, kind
Right,
of.
yeah.
We're still in that era, so. But I mean, it's still not to be disparaging of that many, but it's still.
It seems surprising because I keep going back to the well looking for new and exciting apps. And I guess they're growing. And I like the fact that they're made for Apple Vision Pro. They're not just apps that they've ported over from iPad or from the iPhone. But I'm still waiting for some more diversity in terms around the app situation.
I think that there are a lot of questions that got answered at WWDC, and we're seeing people kind of working through sticking points because the interface interfaces seem to be a little bit better. When controls are showing up, hand controls seem to be a little bit better. Um, there's more fine tuning on apps. The initial apps that came out, there were a lot that were fairly rough. Um, I don't. That might have been just that they didn't have actual devices to work with yet, and we're just doing it in emulation. And then once they actually got physical devices, they were able to go back in and improve things. So I'm seeing not just a 1.0 versions, but 1.1 and 1.2.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the article doesn't have a lot of depth to it. I'll admit that. It did point out a couple of interesting apps I think I want to go back and try, and I started to look at them. But there's just not a lot going on yet from that article, other than to announce that there's plenty of apps out there for those folks who were doubters.
I do kind of want to know what that web flinging app was.
I'll go try to find it and link it in the notes.
Okay.
Well, it's
Now I
I'm
want to
mad.
try it.
I think I saw it and I thought, well, this is cute, but it's sort of like a beer can app or a fart app. After you've done it a couple of times, what else is there?
Hopefully it works in guest mode. Hey, try this out.
Yeah. Yeah, I spent $5 on it. Please try it out.
Put the headset back on after them and their whole home is just covered in web.
Yeah.
Next article. Yeah, go ahead.
They'll have to update it with, web slinging or slime slinging, or, you can add different substances that you can fling on the walls. Well, okay, that one.
Yeah, that one went south really quick.
I didn't say anything.
Please do not suggest this to developers, what people are thinking. Next article is from Gurman, and it was reported in 9 to 5 Mac, but it came from Gurman's newsletter that he did. And yes, again, the rumors are out again. They're Gurman rumors, or Goomers is what we should call them, maybe.
We got to watch it again there too.
But the idea is that there's going to be a cheaper version of the Apple Vision, and it's going to probably look more like smart glasses. So in parallel to the Meta Ray-Bans that are out there, that's what he's promising in his newsletter, that it could come out as soon as next year. Obviously, I don't think it's going to have 20 cameras in it or whatever it is in the headset. So it'll be interesting. And they mention it's not going to have screen capabilities. If you think of Google Glass, at least it had that little side window where things were happening, that you could read email and things like that. So who knows what's going to happen with it? Any of this interest you?
It would, well, lights went out. It would be, I would like I like the idea of the Meta Ray-Ban, so I would love to see an Apple take of it. But, and I would probably, yeah, I mean, I guess would it be a Vision product or an AirPod product?
Yeah.
Because it's kind of more of an AirPod. But I mean, yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I mean, it's kind of like, I don't know how I feel about all the Apple technology right now is there's so many all the building blocks are there. It's just they got to put them together so you can already tell, like, okay, imagine the spatial audio from the Vision Pro. Great, awesome. Put that in glasses. I mean, it's probably pretty similar in the Meta, but now thinking a little forward, an Apple Intelligence empowered one, and I know there's Meta AI and the others too. I mean, it's pretty much going to be if it's true. I imagine it will just be Apple's take on the Meta glasses. But I mean, I'm not complaining, I guess, but I would like a screen. I would like a screen, and it would be really interesting to see that if they did do that, have a screen, if they're gonna get as much of the flack as like Google Glass did and stuff back in the day. I mean, they were very ahead of their time, but now it's like, people running around with Ray-Bans with cameras on, no one's saying anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, Google Glass, the creepy was not the screen. The creepy was the camera. And because I have a pair of those in my closet that I can't use anymore. But it was cool. I mean, getting notifications about emails. I guess you could have your emails read to you. And like you said, Daniel, a la AirPods, the idea that it's doing some of that same functionality that The S lady would tell you that you just got a message and then it could be read to you if you wanted it read to you. But
I'm not a fan of announced notifications, so
yeah,
yeah, that would be a immediate non-starter for me. But I would definitely see myself using the camera functionality all the time.
yeah. Um, for me, it's the sunglass part. It's great if you're out in the sun, but you're walking around inside. It feels just too um, isolating in a way.
I'm a transitions user, so I would just have transition lenses in mind. So,
Yeah, yeah. But you'd get prescription then.
oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd have to wear contacts, and I mean, I only wear contacts if it's a day where like I'm going to be wearing a helmet because like we're doing a track day or something.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I just glasses.
Hmm.
Eric, any thoughts?
Uh, no, not yet. I mean, there's lots of possibilities out there. It's easy to say it's going to be lighter, cheaper. Everybody wants lighter, cheaper. I'm not holding my breath yet. I think there are so many different options, so many different possibilities.
I tell you one thing though, I don't expect to see them under $700.
Yeah,
Absolutely not.
yeah, I would see that. And they'll say, here's your under $1,000 Apple Vision that you wanted.
Yeah,
Um,
I could see something around $1,200 and something around 2,400.
for
I
glasses,
Well, $1,200 for glasses, 2,400 if
400.
a cheaper version of the Vision
Uh,
Pro.
yeah,
Okay.
I can agree with that.
3,500 at the higher end. I think that there will always be something up there.
Okay. Next article, and I don't know, I'm hoping you both can help me with this. What's new in Quick Look for Vision OS 2? Was an Apple Insider article. And when I read through it, it didn't, it said that all this stuff's coming out in or happening in Vision OS 2.0. And all of this was announced at WWDC. But the headline makes it sound like something new just came out. And I don't think it's out yet.
Yeah, I this it really does feel like the equivalent of quick look on preview on the Mac, but
Mm.
just in the Files app. I mean, it looks like there are a bunch of APIs for it. So I mean, I guess probably like if you were, I don't know, browsing like if you were oh, okay, no, I get it more. Like, like if you're browsing on Safari, you might hold down, you can kind of load the page in a little preview there. So I'm thinking maybe like that, but for 3D models.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of explicitly what they're showing, like showing a preview of like an iPhone. So yeah, that's what it seems to me. It's just quick look, but for 3D models, which makes sense. I
Yeah.
mean, that's
But I
this whole
think,
thing.
there's an app, Beautiful Things, which you're probably the 3D modeling app that kind of already has that built in. I mean, you click on something and it pulls off the screen and then you can play with it in a 3D version. Um, and so, yeah, this article just seemed a little, I think it probably means a lot for developers or people who are trying to incorporate the API using Swift UI. But, and
Yeah,
they even have some code in there.
maybe he had to do it, implement it manually.
Yeah. Eric, anything on your end on this?
Not a ton. I guess the only thing is that um the all of the different things, all the different types of objects, the 3D objects, anything that kind of has dimension, um, you just like on the Mac now, you can quickly look at PDF files or images or movies. I can see them wanting it available anywhere without having to rely on a third-party app and
Mhm.
quickly available. Um, So it wouldn't surprise me. And I don't know if there are any other types of objects that'll be coming out. Um,
I'm skimming this documentation pretty quick, and actually, it seems a little more there. Like they have an example of multiple like iPhone models, so then you could kind of package up all the different variants into like one file. And it looks like they're doing some other stuff to make it easy, like it won't like immediately collide with things. It'll snap the table. So I think they're essentially probably the beautiful things, but as a first class native citizen that you can just use. I think
Hmm.
that's the idea here. Just kind of skimming through the documentation video they linked in there.
So let's go on to the next article, and I'm putting in the chat and on YouTube the link to the release notes for uh, the OS 2 Beta 6. Now, I'm running developer betas on every device I have.
Ooh.
I
wow.
know. That's very scary to
Daredevil.
you. Yeah, well,
And you're
I
wondering
can
why your camera isn't working right.
no, and I can always nuke and pave,
Sure.
but I haven't had that problem. So I realize that betas are rolling out like crazy. And I don't know if this was on the non-developer versions if betas came out, but I wound up updating all of my devices today because there were developer betas coming out for all of the devices. I haven't gotten to my watch yet,
Hmm.
but and I don't update my Apple TV because I'm using it less now that I'm watching stuff on the Vision Pro. I don't go to the Apple TV as much or at all. So so I started reading some Reddit sections on it to see what people were saying, and I think I mentioned this on another show. It's hard to tell when you look at the release notes for beta that Apple has put out. Some of the stuff you read, it's the same thing from the previous release. It doesn't change. And they just keep adding on to it. So it's hard to find the things that are different in this release for for us to be able to say this is what you'll notice. And I'm not sure you'll notice anything at a beta 6 at this point.
Yeah, I just assume they don't update those docs at all.
Hmm.
Though it would, actually what I should do is copy paste all the text and then the next one copy paste it again and be like, hey, ChatGPT, diff this for me.
Yeah, right.
Um,
All right, we'll
the,
do that with beta 7.
yeah, yeah, they'll probably be beta like 12. And yeah, they're doing betas every week. Crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, but to be fair, generally I don't run betas either. But Vision Pro is different because who cares? It's early and not mission critical yet. Um, but I had noticed I installed that today too. I noticed just I don't know, there was something weird when I first opened it. How Windows were rendering and scaling was a little weird for me, but not bad
Hmm.
weird. Just
Hmm.
I don't know, something how I was looking at it was different. And it wasn't bad, it wasn't good. Actually, it probably skews more good because then I like to do the small appearance because I want to like, cram as much as I can in my space. And so it actually, if I think it made that easier to use, like for
Hmm.
me to use it in small mode. And then,
Hmm.
and it feels like I could push the windows away further, which I know is like a line item in there since like beta one, which I never really, I'm like, I don't know, it doesn't feel any further. But it feels a little further, but maybe I'm just stretching, trying to find something there. And then the only other thing I noticed was like, like the lookup for the control
That was
center.
big. Yeah.
Well, it was like, it wasn't gone in all the other OS 2 betas. It- and at least for me now, it's more prominent again, like it
Hmm.
was in one dot whatever, any of the older ones, which isn't a bad thing, good thing. Um, Actually, I probably should change it so it's a little further up since I'm so used to doing the finger thing now. I don't, so I'm walking around and looking like I see this magical dot as I'm just walking around again. Yeah, actually, now that I say that aloud, I haven't seen that like just the dot as I'm just moving around. So it's definitely more prominent again.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
a while, it's almost hard to find.
Mhm.
yeah, I did some skimming of Reddit once it came out, and there were some folks who talked about we can now stream video and audio in screen mirroring if you switch from Mac Virtual Display to mode to mirrored display mode.
Oh,
And I didn't quite figure out the complexities of that. People also said moving my virtual display around seems a lot smoother. And the area pass through around my MacBook keyboard seems fully immersed and bigger. So that's what
Hmm.
some of the chatter on Reddit is about what's going on with this beta 6
You
for
know,
two.
we should probably also mention again what you brought up before, which is if you have set your Vision Pro down, pick it back up again, and then can't get anything to show up, just covering it with the cover for a minute until it says low light, taking that cover off again, press OK, and then the interface all comes back. So you don't
Hmm.
have to do what I was doing for a long time until you told me the secret, which was rebooting. And that's a pain. So for all of the beta users out there that have been stuck with no apps and a blank
You
screen.
know, I noticed one thing with this beta. It could just be incidental. I don't know. I started looking at some of the apps and I looked at one. I don't know if I put it in the notes for tonight or not. I'll put it in for next week, but it was an interesting app, but it had videos in the app description in the App Store. And I went to click to run them and they ran and there was no sound. And I thought, what's going on here? And so I instinctively went up and turned the sound crown on. And when I touched the sound crown and started to turn it, the sound came on. So I don't know if that's a glitch with the beta or what it could be, but that's something I noticed. And again, I spent all of 15 minutes with the new beta. Loaded it before dinner today to see if there is anything demonstrative to talk about.
Hmm. Let's see, what was the other thing? The other notable thing is if you spend all weekend, cutting down trees and your back is killing you and you go to lie down in bed, now you can easily put your screen up on the ceiling and still see it. That was mentioned in a previous episode.
Right.
Uh, but it used to be that it would set the screen so it was perpendicular to the floor. Now you
Yeah,
can have
it's
it so that it is actually in front of you and you can watch the whole thing, and
huh.
it's just
yeah.
nice.
Or you had to grab it and pull it up
But
to where
even
you
that,
were.
it was tilted funny. Now it
Yeah.
actually,
Oh, it had
it,
that kerning sort of that
it was,
skew.
yeah, it was just weird. It was never quite
Yeah.
right. And now
Yeah.
it's pretty consistent. So, I mean, anyone who was stuck kind of in a reclining type position, there's a lot of stuff you couldn't actually see. Or you'd see the top part of the movie, but not the bottom. Yeah, it was just weird. But now
Yeah.
it just
Oh,
works.
like a movie, like in the theater mode.
Well, in anything,
Interesting.
theater mode for sure. But yeah, even in other stuff, it just
Huh.
wasn't happy.
Yeah, I can't relate to that,
Huh.
which is really interesting because I'm like,
Well, it's
well,
nice now. So, well, have you been watching stuff lying down?
yeah, one of a
Huh.
lot of my use is in a recliner nearly horizontal.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'll just be all the way back and and then usually I'll just, do the hold to reorient. And then sometimes like you're saying the window will be skewed, but I found if you hold it and then you turn your head, you can get
Yeah,
it
it
straight.
readjusts. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that was kind of fun. And
Ah,
it's better now than what it was, because for a while it would adjust, but not in a good way.
Okay.
It seems to line up better now. But
Hmm.
I don't think I can watch video lying on my back. I've never, so for me, it's the posture and the way my guts are being challenged by gravity. If I'm lying back, it's not like I've ever watched anything on the ceiling of my bed. So I still have that vestibule
Hmm.
feeling of lying down, and it would just seem strange to me to watch. Now I slouch and I watch it. I mean, I'm on the couch and I'm slouching. That's a little different, but I just haven't tried to lay down and watch things off the virtual ceiling yet.
It's all in how much pain you're in.
All right, let's go on to the next one. An article here about there are some games that are coming to arcade. More retro stuff. Again, this was announced, but it's not there yet. It won't be there till September 5th. So some things like Monster Train Plus and Apple Vision Pro title Puzzle Sculpt is going to be launching in Apple Arcade. And the Puzzle Sculpt is pretty cool. When I've seen it and when I've gone to look at it, it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun in a three-dimensional space. So yeah, they're just trying to get us set up to keep us thinking about how we can use this product in different ways.
Hmm. How much Apple Arcade stuff have you used?
None. I'm too cheap.
I have Apple Arcade just as part of Apple One. Have I used much of it? Nah. Particularly in Vision Pro, I want to be in an environment that's not flattened and pixelated. Um, you know, so I'm not a big gamer either. So although I've got a game that I found that's pretty cool, we'll
Hmm.
talk about later. Um, but yeah, I just haven't done a lot with arcade.
That's kind of interesting. I guess I'm finding when I talk to other people that on the Vision Pro in particular, I haven't found anyone who's doing Apple Arcade stuff. I mean, I've got Solitaire and Apple Arcade on my phone while I'm waiting for stuff to happen, but
Mhm.
I tend just to have another window open and do something else as opposed to waiting for something to finish. So I haven't tried it yet. So I guess I'll have to do some more experimenting, or maybe I just haven't been able to discover enough different games. I don't know if it's a searchability problem or if it's something else. Because I would think
Yeah.
I pay for it. I should be able to find something.
I mean, it might be also just maybe have to do with the phase of the bleh, words, the phase in which this product exists in its own life cycle. And that by that I mean, right, like anybody who's making anything more substantial in terms of like a VR or AR game, they are for the most part, broadly speaking, I wouldn't expect them to just immediately hop on the Vision Pro, right? From a business perspective, doesn't make sense. And that's just one of a number of other potential perspectives. And they're, I think more interested in, like your more traditional VR games, which could be
Mhm.
more of a thing as there's some VR controllers out in the world for the Vision Pro that are coming to market soon. So that'll be interesting to see if the whole
Yeah.
VR gaming ecosystem can come into the Vision Pro when that happens. Maybe once that occurs, then you'll have some of those people being like, "Oh wow, I played X, Y, and Z on it. Now maybe I'll consider a more native game."
Hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah. So let's go to the next article, and it's a question that I have. Vision Pro emulator brings Nintendo's Virtual Boy back to life, and I guess they refer to it as Virtual Friend.
Ugh.
Um, have you done anything on Nintendo with 3D? That apparently was a product that was not successful and was kind of panned.
I
But
know
it,
of it. Oh, sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
No,
No.
I mean I know of it. I'm aware of its existence. Never had one. I did download this, but I need to go get some ROMs to try this out. But that'll be kind of cool because I mean I never, like I said, I never experienced it. Though to be fair, it would have been 4 or 3, so not probably an appropriate toy for a 3-year-old.
Yeah, I again, it's more out of curiosity. I think we're seeing, and they mentioned in this article that um, there have been lots and lots and lots of emulators that are coming out now that Apple's kind of letting into their app store for those purposes. I noticed one of the pictures. I think it's in this article. No, it's not in this article. It's in another article that I'll put up. It's a Gizmodo article where you can actually see someone with a controller. If
Oh,
you in the picture that they are utilizing the controller, typical Nintendo kind of controller, I think, to play the game. So what you spoke about, Daniel, the idea of some of these AR uh, or VR controllers entering into the Vision Pro space
yeah.
is pretty interesting.
Yeah, and then that one looks like that looks like a PS5 controller, which
PS5, okay.
yeah, which I think
Yeah, that
works
tells you
well too.
how much gaming I do.
Which, yeah, which works well for the Virtual Boy emulator because it did have a controller. I do recall that, and actually the controller support in the Vision Pro is really good. Actually, I have mine right here because right before I was playing Elden Ring. Uh, so what do you think I'm going to do after this? I'm going to go back and play some Elden Ring. But
I'll be editing this.
I'll even use the controller to navigate the general interface. That's like just look and like, oh, I need to go look something up, and I just open Safari and I start using the controller to click and scroll, but still using my eyes to point.
Hmm.
So,
Huh.
yeah, they have a lot of support for that kind of stuff where it's like it's surprising. Like even if I pair a controller to the Apple TV, it pops up and when I turn it on, it's like, do you want to open Steam Link? And I just never would have expected that.
Oh,
Huh. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
so it knows what you like.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, probably the only thing that is a game as far as that probably goes too. So
Yeah. Well, the next couple of articles that I'll put up is about environments. Uh, Disney brings 3 more 3D movies and an environment to Apple Vision Pro.
What were the
Let
three
me.
new movies? Oh, they're
Well,
there.
actually, in the article, they mentioned 4. So I was having trouble figuring if one had already been in there. But the 3 new movies are Avengers Age of Ultron, Ant-Man, and Ant-Man and the Wasp,
Hmm.
now in 3D versions. Yeah.
So what did you think of Iceland for the environment?
Me?
Hmm.
I I don't do environments, and it's like make a happy sunny field with flowers in it. Everything that's come out has been this, even during the daytime, it's this drab forest or environment or something. There's no happy, clappy environments for me to go into to enjoy using as an environment. It always feels like it makes me feel like I'm stuck inside in a rainy day as a kid. I mean, it's just
Huh.
nothing.
What about the beach with the palm trees and the ocean coming in? As long as you
The
keep it
problem,
in day mode, not night mode.
yeah, the problem is I know I'm not at the beach. I've got this thing strapped on my head. So,
I do that on the beach.
yeah.
I have a big imprint at the end of the day with sunburn all around it. It wouldn't be pretty.
Daniel, any news about environments for you? It's an Iceland immersive environment, and it is what, looking at the article, it's National Geographic.
I was gonna
They're
say,
involved in it, and it is Thingvellir National Park in Iceland.
It
I
was
wish
nice,
I
clear. I liked it.
I wish I could just download those though, because I'm not a Disney Plus person. I wish I could just download the environments though.
Uh, we got to get you spending more money, Daniel.
I already spent enough money. And if all the other Apple rumors are true, I'm going to be spending a lot more this year.
Yeah.
Okay, so that the second article I'm putting in again about the Disney environments, it comes from Apple Insider. And then, come on, this might be your generation. SpongeBob SquarePants.
It totally is, but also I did not download this.
As an
And you
environment.
didn't, yeah,
Really?
it's an environment. Yeah.
Can you actually just download the environment, or is it attached to something else? If it's not attached to something else, okay, I gotta go do it and try to make some memes or something.
Yeah, it's in honor of 25 years of SpongeBob SquarePants.
You still need Paramount Plus
Ooh,
because it says available to subscribers.
Well,
kind of looks like a PlayStation 2 game though.
Huh.
Could be a little better looking, but I guess that makes the cartoony aesthetic better, to
well,
be
we know
fair.
who lives in a pineapple under the sea, and it's not Daniel.
No.
Since
Huh.
I have both a Disney Plus subscription because I've got the Hulu package and I have a Paramount Plus subscription, I'll probably download these just to play with them. Um, I guess it's meant to attract adult. I don't think this is like for your 6-year-old to put the headset on and play in.
I mean, to be fair, if you
Um,
put the headset on a 6-year-old, they probably just like slam their head into the ground because of the weight.
yeah, I got that. Yeah.
Yeah, but they wouldn't go anywhere. You'd know where they were.
And you got a free leash with the battery.
Ouch. Oh.
Okay,
Oh yeah, yeah. We have
last two
iPad
articles,
kids.
last three articles actually. We got two articles, and Cletus asked because we skipped it last week. He wanted to hear more about this article about the Waterfield backpack, and I put it in the list last week, and we just jumped over it, and that was okay. But Cletus said you got to talk about it. I cannot. I don't know. What do you carry your Vision Pro in?
I did just do a trip where I did have to carry it. Oh, we're on video. I'll show it. But it was a cheap, I think it's that cheap, very common. You see like the U Carlos case. It's like 30
Hmm.
bucks, little small
Right.
guy. Um, and I just put that in my regular backpack, which is fine. I like this bag, but what I don't like about it is that it's dedicated Vision Pro. That's what I don't like. Like if they made that as an insert for a backpack, which
Hmm.
isn't uncommon in cameras. And I was actually thinking like I'm gonna go look at camera bags because you'll find camera bags that do the same thing all day. Um, and so I was like, okay, well, what if I started looking at camera bag inserts and the same padding, adjustable, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, that'd be nice, but personally I wouldn't buy a whole backpack just for it. And it feels kind of like they could have done more with this one, like with respect to the main compartment after the Vision Pro. Because yeah, just like what do you do if you don't like this bag kind of starts to become useless if you don't use a Vision Pro anymore. That's why I'd rather have an insert because then at least it's not the whole bag that's like useless.
Hmm. Yeah, right now I've got the Apple marshmallow bag because I got a deal on it. And then when I carry it around, I actually put that bag inside a Land's End canvas bag. And that leaves enough room that if I want to, I can put keyboards and trackpads and other cables and, bunches of other crap in the pockets. And when I zip it all closed, it does not look like I'm carrying around something you want to steal. It doesn't scream, "Hey, grab me."
Yeah, it's actually kind of a good point because like camera bags often do the same thing. So yeah, it actually you're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, if I'm driving myself someplace in a car, like on this vacation, I took my Vision Pro with me and I put it in a big canvas like carrying bag.
Hmm.
And I put a bunch of things on top of it. So it was in the back of my car, which you can't see through the windows anyways. But it was covered that way because um, that marshmallow case is a dead giveaway. You're not carrying, you're not carrying your child in it. Well, in some cases you are, but it's a dead giveaway. And when we were at Macstock together, that's what I put the case and brought the
Ah,
case with because I knew I was going to be at Macstock. Um, when I first ordered it and it came out, I immediately didn't know when or if I was going to get a case. I ordered the pillow case, but I knew I wasn't going to be carrying that on a plane, and I was planning on going the next week on a flight.
ah.
And so I bought, I went on Amazon and found a cheap case for like $40. Maybe the similar to the case that Daniel first showed, and it was compact and it worked. What I liked about it is I don't do backpacks. I'm real broad shouldered, real big. And so backpack seems and then having to carry some other case with me. So I do over the shoulder bags, and I wanted to find a case that I could put in an over the shoulder bag and have that as one item that I'm carrying onto a plane, get on the plane, put my over the shoulder bag up, pull out the Vision Pro case. And so I went with one of those smaller, more portable, cheaper bags.
That
I
makes sense.
just the price for this is just ridiculous for me too. I would never consider that kind of cost for a bag. Now, I don't do camera bags. You guys know them better than I do in terms of what camera backpacks are like and what they cost. But that would be my concern about just in general was the cost of the case.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I'll pay for a good bag, but but because it's just Vision Pro, that's then the price starts to. I don't want to pay that much for just that. And I'm looking at it again more closely. I would, if I really found myself commuting such that that was like my commute hit, like I was always taking that every day. I guess I could see myself getting it, honestly, but I I don't. Well, if that is somebody's every day, please let me know because I
Yeah.
mean, cool, very
Yeah.
cool. Come on the show. You- Like you're who should be here.
Yeah. I also invested because the chatter was all around the Spigen case, which is much cheaper than the Apple $200 case. So I purchased one of those. Haven't really used it because it's too big for me to put into a case to carry on a plane with me. And when I'm driving, I've got my own Apple Vision Pro, Apple version of the case.
Hmm.
Um,
At some point, I want to find a waterproof case because I want to take my Apple Vision Pro canoeing. And I'm not quite brave enough to just stick it in the bottom of the canoe and hope.
Okay, just get like, your typical Pelican style case. Just
Yeah.
get one of those. Go to Harbor Freight. They have a bunch of them nowadays. Just go get that. There you go. You got your waterproof.
Bright
Or just
color
get a,
floats. Yeah.
yeah, get a couple of garbage bags and double them and throw it inside of there.
Yeah. I thought about, 2 Ziplocs. I thought, yeah, what could go wrong? But no. It's
Yeah.
it's heavy enough. It's got to be a case that's got some extra flotation on it.
And then the irony is I have a couple of metas, meta 2, I have meta 1, 2, and 3. And the meta cases work really fine as substitutes. Again, but I'm looking for that compactness that Daniel kind of showed in the case that he had. And I'll treat it gingerly and I'll have it within another layer of protection in my over-the-shoulder bag. But the next week we hear about their new design of a Waterfield designs a shield case. It offers more sensible Vision Pro protection than Apple's travel case. I don't know how it's smaller, it's more compact. The thing that you got to say about the Marshmallow case of Apple is that it's pretty sturdy. And I just don't imagine a soft-sided case, as this article says, providing more sensible protection. It's cute, it's pretty, it's small, it's got a leather top with a zipper on it.
Yeah, the only thing I like about this one is it comes with the fitted. I mean, it really does look about the same size as the small Quest one.
Right.
But what I like about what that has is it has the shaped
Yeah.
pouches for the other stuff. Because like when I get it all in here, I'm just cramming it all in here, having some nice shaped
Structure.
uh yeah, the structured bags inside of the bag would be nice.
Yeah. Well,
Is it $200 nice? I don't
I
know.
take the little drawbag insert out of my Apple Vision Pro case from Apple and use that for as a ditty bag for the smaller case that you have.
I just
Hmm.
realized I have a bunch of really small Crown Royal bags. Maybe that'll work
Well,
for me.
yeah, I think there's a little bit more push on what you're seeing in this that I don't know what you call it, oblong jelly bean shaped kind of case that's in
Kidney
there.
bean? I don't know.
Yeah,
So I'm kind of
pinto
waiting.
bean.
I'm waiting for a case or a backpack that would let me take the Vision Pro, an iPad, and a mini, and enough room that I could put a battery in.
You're at
Uh,
like a 5 liter like sling bag almost.
it's close, but if the mini does get a redesign and is closer to the size of an Apple TV, then there's some definite
Oh,
possibilities.
Mac Mini. I was thinking iPad Mini.
Oh no,
Yeah,
yeah. Right now, I like the larger iPad, um, and then that would let me have access to a Mac, all the Mac software and everything from the Vision Pro. I could carry it along, plug it into my Milwaukee Tools outlet, and have everything power up, run, and have all my windows and everything else.
There's a
And
yeah.
guy in one of the Vision Pro Discords who has a whole jig to do just that and play VR chat.
huh.
Uh, Crazy, but VR chat guys are crazy. But I mean, you're trying to do the same thing pretty much. Why not a MacBook Air? Actually, I almost.
That's possible, maybe.
Let's spend more of Eric's money.
That's always the most fun thing to do is spend other
I
people's
know,
money.
spend other people's money. All right. So last article is Microsoft plans a new mixed reality VR headset to rival Apple Vision Pro. It may run Windows apps via the cloud.
Wow. I mean,
Yeah, it could be useful, I guess.
I mean, let's be fair. I mean, they started their ARM transition kind of
Mhm.
now too, and it's for like the third time, and it seems like maybe it'll actually stick this time. So, you know, it's kind of easy to be down on them about it, but I mean, I'm excited to see all the competition. And especially on the what was their AR headset called? I should know.
Oh, no, not Oculus.
Hollow something.
Hollow, yeah,
HoloLens.
Yeah.
HoloLens.
I should know because in college we did a senior project in collaboration with the DoD for this super suit they were doing, and we did like a configuration app for the HUD display that the super
Ah,
soldier would have, and it was prototyped on a HoloLens. And well, I'll tell you from my experience of using the HoloLens, it's like, ooh. Now, to be fair, this was like
a while ago.
9 years ago,
Yeah.
but still, it was like so. Hey, I mean, if they bring it back and they can kind of, take all those lessons and all this new stuff, and I'm all for it. I'm hyped.
Well, they talk about they're setting aside orders for hundreds of thousands of micro OLED displays for the new VR headset. The reportedly focus on content consumption such as gaming and movies, but not the metaverse. And then they're working on bringing full desktop apps, Windows apps, to mixed reality via the cloud. And I'm just not sure about running apps through the cloud.
How is that any different from a remote desktop into an app?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, I think about a lot of corporate, big enterprise environment. Yeah, well, yeah, Eric, you should, yeah, you
Yeah,
pretty
I mean,
much
a lot
have.
of people prefer it because it's nice and secure. You don't have to add very
Yeah.
much client side. There's no data that you have to worry about, so there's no leaking of anything. You're just using it as a terminal to connect, which means your device doesn't really have to do a whole lot other than display whatever's going across the screen. You need a network connection, so as you might have discovered in northern Wisconsin, you might be out of, but um, many places that's not a network's not an issue.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
most people's computing too doesn't need like, okay, it'd be a little more lagged relative to native, but that's fine. And for most computer use, and I mean that actually, entertainment wise, actually read between those lines. There's game streaming involved in there too, 100%. And I'm a big game
Hmm.
streaming fan. I mean, before Stadia was shut down, uh, like you would think gaming would sucks on over the network, but actually, if you had a good connection,
Yeah.
and to be fair, there was a data center like in Miami, so it's basically local. I had lower input to frame draw response time at higher reses that I could not have done on my computer that I had. And it's like, that's cool.
Yeah.
Now, not everyone has that in this country, and that sucks, but they'll get there. Maybe they can do it locally off their own. I mean, a lot more of that. So,
Okay, so let's go to new apps worth mentioning. And I was playing around and was coaxed into purchasing this app called Overbeat. Essentially, you got two pistols, which was kind of neat. And I guess it would be called like Beat Saber, but with pistols. Little different in the sense that
Hmm.
your score is also based on your ability to move the pistols at targets in line with the beat, because the targets come at you in line with the beat. And you have a right pistol and a left pistol. And sometimes, like in Beat Saber, those cross, other times they're representing different sound aspects of it. Now, I'm not good at this stuff. I went through the tutorial and thought, well, this is pretty cool. And then I went through and did one of the easy ones and was able to get through it. And yay for me. Um, the next day, they came out with an update on the app. So, and I noticed it's a little bit more responsive. So I don't know if it was like $6 or $5 that I paid for it. It was a pretty cool experience. Overbeat. Um,
Huh.
and we're seeing a lot of these kind of games. Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, no, yeah, it looks like it was $6. That looks interesting. I might give it a try.
Yeah, same. I'm gonna try it too. It actually looks fun.
Yeah,
And
the part that was confusing for me was I wanted to squeeze a trigger, and you don't squeeze a trigger on this. You just have to point the gun at the target. And there are certain cases
uh,
where the targets just kind of fly at you really quickly. So it's like an automatic. It will then shoot automatically if you're pointing it at the right target. But it doesn't, I was waiting for that, that trigger movement that it was not set up to read my fingers moving in like I'm pulling a trigger.
hmm.
Oh, missed opportunity. You could do finger guns and use your thumbs.
Can
Uh,
you please make that shooting sound again?
and then you have to come out with Imperial blasters too, because
Yeah.
But that's the DLC add-on in-app
yeah,
Yeah.
purchase.
huh.
The next app is IMAX. It came out. I Last time I went to an IMAX movie, I wanted to throw up um, because of the motion. But I thought, okay, I'm going to look into this. It's IMAX. They're using the 4K OLED. So let me look into it and let me see if it's that big screen experience. And I got the app. It's free to get the app. And I thought, well, what do I want to look at? All of them are rentals. And I thought, I don't want to rent a movie. I want to own the movie. And the rental is like $5, $5 to $6 for whatever you want to
Uh,
rent. So I haven't spent any money on a rental because it's okay. I'm going to have to sit here and watch it. I don't know if I stop it. Do I have to finish it in 48 hours or how long do I have? Um, yeah.
well,
So a little bit disappointing.
it's still less expensive than going out to an IMAX theater.
Yeah, but we're not seeing Deadpool versus Wolverine. We're seeing space shots, spending time with pandas in 3D. And some of the material was not in 3D, which was
Hmm.
again disappointing. It was 2D. There were about 3 items that they have currently in their rental space that are 3D. One of them was pandas. Um,
Hmm.
and I don't think there was even a 2-minute demo video within the app. So
Uh,
it was like you got to know what you're getting into.
It seems kind of strange, like because in theory, I mean, in my mind, like, what does IMAX do? The app do differently? Because it's not like is it any different than just watching a 4K movie on Apple iTunes? You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like, is it really any different? Is it just like a weird trying to mini content cash grab or something? Like, I find it weird. Like, I basically I'm wondering, do they add anything other than content?
I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
So how was the interface? There were some complaints that the interface was a little wonky.
I didn't get to the interface because I mean, basically it's a list of, movies and
Hmm.
not very many of them. And one subject heading was 3D and the other subject heading was 2D.
Okay.
Um, so I didn't attempt to rent anything. I almost did, and then I just didn't push the button. Because I didn't know again, how long is the rental? What can I start and stop it? And do I want to watch 30 minutes of pandas?
Yeah, and I don't see anything about environments. I mean,
Yeah.
I could see if they had an environment of a really nice theater or an environment, as you said, a nice happy outdoor environment where you're going in and you get, you know, birds chirping and sunlight until your movie comes on and it dims down and You get the happy crunching of popcorn all around you. Ah,
Yeah.
I need to get some popcorn.
Mm.
Ah, huh.
Somebody put in Moonlight Vision. I think it was
Oh
Daniel.
yeah. Yeah. So if there's any other gamers out there who are just streaming their flat games off their computer, um, I was using Steam Link, but I had seen the light, the moonlight, rather, and the sunshine combo, and there was a Vision OS app for a while, but then it uh, broke due to some like SSL issue and some version. It's been like 8 weeks or so, and they finally seem to have gotten around to resolving it. So I was very happy today to find that out. So I wanted to make anyone else who, uh, plays their games off their computer using Moonlight and Sunshine to get the updated Vision app now that it doesn't insta crash on you.
And finally, you put in and I'll put this again in the podcast show notes, the spatial web shooter.
Yeah, I found it.
So we can all be spider people.
When I was growing up, like silly string, like in cans, aerosol cans. There
Right.
was definitely
Yeah.
Spider-Man toys where it was basically mounted on a glove, and then you get in real life. So it's like, actually, I should get this just to relive that for 10 minutes, but still.
Oh, and it looks like it's stretchy and you can pull on it. Oh man,
Yeah.
I still have to get.
All right.
Actually, I'm more interested what the big tower fan is in their room. Actually, that's a huge fan.
Oh, you mean in the app, what you can
Yeah, in the
see?
app video. Yeah, that's more interesting. Yeah.
Well, if it was a fan, it would be cool if like you could shoot web at it and then the fan would start to either slow down or
You,
pull it or
you just identified the real use case for the Internet of Things. Smart Bluetooth in the fan, and you can make it slow down once you sprayed web
oh
into it.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I just don't think like you think, Daniel. That's creative. Yeah, things come out of my mouth and they're really not intentional.
Unfortunately,
But I'm
somebody's
glad
gonna.
you make intention out of them. I appreciate that.
Well, fortunately, somebody's gonna take me seriously and do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just go out and buy an Apple Vision Pro and you can control your $24
Yeah.
fan with web shooter. I don't almost think about that, huh?
Yeah. Well, we're rolling down to an end. This is our first YouTube version. I will get off of this and chop the garbage off the front, try to put a title piece in it, and get it set to go, and then strip down the audio for the podcast, so we can have that audio version of the process too. Um, Chuck Joyner joined us in the chat room a little bit from Mac Voices. Eric and I are working with him on a project called Vision Pro Focus, where we look at topical areas around Vision Pro, not like this sort of weekly news magazine that we do with this podcast and video. But it's an interesting show. Last time we talked about the social aspects of it. I think we need to do entertainment next
Hmm.
because that's such a big element in it. And but we'll probably have another episode of that come out in 3 weeks or so, I would imagine. Um, Thanks for Chuck for joining us tonight in the chat room. Thanks to Cletus, who's in there, who is was on the show the last episode. And so he's joined us in the chat room with this episode, and that's kind of cool to have him along as part of the process on our
Yeah.
Maiden Voyage on YouTube. We have another 16 episodes before this. If you're interested and you haven't seen us or heard us, you can find that in on any podcast client that you use, Vision ProFiles podcast. And you'll be able to listen to previous episodes if you like. And we'll continue to do this in 2 platforms, as long as I can figure it out, as long as it works. And I'll try and get myself a better camera setting in future shows, a much clearer camera setting. And so I'm going to have to switch that out. But we're still working the kinks out. So we appreciate you being along for the ride on this. Thank you for tuning in. We'd love to hear from our listeners. If you have any ideas or want to join in an episode, email us at visionprofilspodcast@gmail.com. Our bumper music is Free Jazzy by Steve Combs, courtesy of the Free Music Archive. Thanks to Eric. Thanks to Daniel for being here with us for this. You can learn more about the Vision Profile podcast on our website, visionprofiles.info, and all of our available podcasts on the podtalk.net. Spread the word to other visionaries. Thanks for listening and watching, and we'll see you next time.
Good night.